Welcome to the Whole Career Podcast, where we explore the world of healthcare careers with AdventHealth professionals. We're your hosts, Brandon Strong and Sky Kellogg, and we're excited to take you on a journey of career exploration, development, and success.
At AdventHealth, we believe in caring for the whole person, which includes supporting our team members' professional growth and development. In this podcast, we'll be highlighting valuable career information, resources, and advice to help you succeed in both your professional and personal life.
Each episode will feature conversations with AdventHealth professionals who will share their personal career journeys, insights, and perspectives on various healthcare careers. From nursing to technology to leadership, we'll cover a wide range of topics to help you stay informed and inspired.
Whether you're just starting out in your healthcare career or you're a seasoned professional looking to take the next step, this podcast is for you. We hope to empower you with the knowledge and tools you need to grow, succeed, and make a positive impact in your field.
At Advent Health, we believe that we are greater as a whole, and we invite you to join us on this journey. So sit back, relax, and let's explore the world of healthcare careers together. Welcome back to the Whole Career Podcast. My name is Brandon Strong. I'm your host, and I'm accompanied by my wonderful co host, Sky Kellogg. And so today we are extremely excited to speak with Sonaly Cosme, and she is the Director of Laboratory at Advent Health, CFD. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me here today.
Of course, of
Yeah,
course. We're excited. So before we get started, just want to bring the audience along in your career journey. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you're currently doing as a director of laboratory at CFD?
of course. So I'm one of the five directors that we have in CFD, and I oversee the campuses of Winter Park, East Orlando, Lake Nona, and Waterford Lakes laboratories. So yes, I oversee all that region and, of course, the operations and the strategy of laboratory in that market.
Awesome. Thank you.
And can you share your journey from becoming a certified medical technologist to your current role as the director of laboratory?
Sure. When I did my bachelor degree in medical laboratory sciences, and then once we go through that program, we get certified, so we pass the board. After passing the board, I actually started working with back then Florida Hospital, AdventHealth. So I've been 19 years in the organization. Amazing experience. And the first 6 years, I worked as a medical technologist, and then worked 3 years as a senior tech through a promotion at different location. Work a year as a supervisor, 7 years also as a manager, and the last four as a director. And I will not change it for anything in the world.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And
Yes.
for our listeners, can you share some insight to what your role as a medical technologist involves and like what is involved in that space so they can understand?
Sure. So the laboratory is actually, again, very vital in our hospitals because it's usually like that confirmatory place of your testing where we run and help with the diagnosis of the patient. And mostly is actually all divided in four to many. It's actually, I say, five departments in what is called laboratory main area, but laboratory has different ramifications and different options as a career, which is really amazing. Most people don't know that, but we have from lab assistants all the way to pathologists in the laboratory, so it's a very well versed department with many opportunities for those that love sciences and also that seek to help the patient even from the background.
Hmm.
Yeah. And so, because from my knowledge, I think
Hmm.
MLS is that underneath your department as well, the
Yes.
medical laboratory scientist.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So, for our listeners, can you explain? So, director of laboratory,
Hmm.
explain all of the types of different scenarios that you possibly see coming into the laboratory. That way they kind of know what you all are dealing with.
Wow, yes. We first, of course, patient care is our priority, of course, and try to make sure that we keep that a high quality standard. We're very well regulated by other regulatory agencies like GAP, FDA as well. Some people don't know that, but yes, CLIA, and also by the state. So yes, very well regulated, very well controlled environment to keep that quality at a very, very high level. Very intricate as well when it comes to the different departments. So we also have the opportunity to either specialize in different areas or stay as a generalist, which is majority of the team members are. But again, is also divided like a hematology or microbiology, chemistry. Blood bank is one of the areas that I really spent 3 years, which I love the most. And urinalysis and coagulation, right? So it is diverse, but also a very intricate when it comes to those departments, right? Because it's also the regulatory piece of it that keeps that high control. But again, it keeps us at a very high level. So as a hospital, we are regulated or inspected by DNB, but laboratory on top of DNB also have these other regulatory agencies. So imagine the high level of quality of results that we provide to the community and to our patients in the hospital.
So, what I'm pulling from this is if you are interested in sciences in any way, there are so many different
Yes.
Yes.
roles just within the lab. I think we've probably listed at least 10 to 12 so far. So, I think that's just it's a wonderful space for people to consider because there are so many pathways to growth and different areas of passion that people can
Correct.
pursue. So, I appreciate you listing those out. And if you could just discuss the importance of laboratory within the overall healthcare setting, what does the lab mean to Advent Health
Mhm.
as a whole?
Yes. So the lab is very vital. We're kind of like also here as a backbone. Yes, we are in the backstage, right? We are not in the front area, but we're helping our providers with those diagnoses, with those results of those tests. I feel like not having a test result is like going blind. So you don't know what could be happening. Maybe you can see what's going on, but it's not till we go to the inside of it what's really happening. And I think those results are the one that help that. Just like the work that our pathologists do, trying to help with the diagnosis, right? When it comes to the review of the slides or the cells that they feel they think the provider has to be reviewed as well. But yes, that's really how I feel. I think is even though we're backstage like other ancillary departments as well, but we play a vital role. I think that was also mostly seen through COVID. I know
Mhm,
we didn't know how to move forward with COVID, and but we all wanted to know if we were COVID positive or negative, right? So, and that's where really the lab, I think, got a really good highlight of the importance of it. Like,
mhm,
yes, we've been in the background. I think as laboratorians, we are very introverted, but I think it's when those moments come where we have our moment to shine and show the importance of our department and the hospital and also as a system.
mhm,
Yeah. So, when you look at the point at which you all receive information or receive a request, it's usually after, like you said,
Mhm.
someone has been tested. And so I'm thinking about timeline.
Hmm.
What is it like working in maybe a pressured situation where everyone talks about, like, all right, I'm going to get this to the lab, how quickly can we get this
Yes.
back? Can you talk to us about, like, how your team kind of manages the pressure that comes with working in lab, and supporting the different physicians or the providers that you're
Hmm.
working with, because they know that, hey, we're sending it to you, but we need this back as
Hmm.
quickly as possible, and everybody wants everything
Yes.
like yesterday. But can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes, so we have metrics in the laboratory as well. Yes, it's a high quality level of results when we do our testing, but we have metrics to meet those turnaround times. So we have turnaround time for tests that are fast moving or that can move patients faster in the house or within the campus. So we work with keeping those metrics and we also track it too. So we have from 30-minute turnaround time to 60-minute turnaround time. So it depends on the test. We have turnaround times for it. And then the team works through that. It's usually in the lab very arranged. There's a lot of teamwork happening as well because we all cannot do it by ourselves or individually. So of course, yes, we have a lot of instrumentation that also requires a lot of maintenance, but we also work together to keep that very cohesive. So if a sample gets to the laboratory, then there's a full process for it. It gets logged in, it gets processed, it gets centrifuged, and from there goes to the instrument. But also that time is being logged as we go too, to also meet the goal of that turnaround time on that specific test.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you've been with Advent Health 19 years,
Yes.
you said. So 19 years, that is a long time. What has kept you so passionate in this field and what even sparked your interest to pursue this career field?
So since I've been probably like in elementary school, I love sciences. I think that's been my passion.
Mhm,
It was either science or math, but sciences did call my attention the most. I've always been very curious why this happened, and I'm a person that like to know the why. Of course, there's things I don't want to know the why, but there's things that most of the times I will ask myself why this is happening, or why this reaction, or how this complements with this. And I think that pursuing that area in sciences, and then specializing in medical laboratory and sciences, really helped me. The other part is I wanted to do something that will help others. So I think I do have that passion in me of helping others, and again inspiring at the same time, to help around. And what better place than doing that than in a laboratory setting, where I can help with providing a diagnosis of the patient and knowing why either you're sick or why this is your condition today.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah. And so before I guess I ask this question, I want to understand, what is ACHE?
So American College of Healthcare Executives.
Okay, American College of Healthcare Executives.
Yes.
Okay. And so how has your involvement with the ASACHE?
Yes.
Let me go back. Is there like a certain saying that they call, is it like
Achi.
Ache?
Achi.
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 Okay, all right, let me do that again. So I'm gonna go back to the question number 5 here. So okay, here we are. So how has your involvement with Achi of Central Florida chapter and your role as the outreach communication manager
Mhm.
influenced your professional growth?
It's been an amazing experience. I actually joined them, I want to say like a year and a half already, almost 2 years. And it's been very rewarding because I joined seeking or going for the opportunity to be a FACHI, which is a 4 year membership also, but also it involves other things that you have to accomplish to get there. And then early this year, I decided to like, let me just put some time in it, and volunteer for ACHI with the chapter, with the Central Florida chapter. And definitely very rewarding. I think what I take the most is the networking, the connections. I usually recommend that to people, the connections. I think that's what get us out there. And all the opportunities that they do for volunteer and community involvement. I think that's been very of the rewarding things that I have experienced with ACHI, and also built me up to when I am ready to be that fellow ACHI, which is the FACHI credentials that you can get after the 4th year once you pass the board.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And what do you consider to be the most rewarding aspect of your role as a director of laboratory?
Helping people. I think that as a director, we also oversee team members and how to help them when they are in need. Because even though it's not all laboratory, right? But we also have that personnel piece of it that we have to manage, but also how we help them. If it's very rewarding to see when I see team members that start even from a volunteer standpoint and being for them to be medical technologists. I've seen those, and you see them grow through the laboratory career ladder is very rewarding, very rewarding. Beside the part of the patient care that we do inside the laboratory, to see that sometimes we remember patients by their name because we know,
Mhm.
like we don't see them, but we know they have come, and sometimes we worry we haven't seen them in this many times. What could have happened?
Mhm.
So we also get attached, even though we're in the background, but we also get attached to them in some ways, according to how it's going with their treatment.
Mhm. That's a really good aspect to bring up of the empathy aspect that's
Yes.
still needed, even though you're not in direct patient care, but that those are still things you have to be prepared for in that career field. So yeah, I
Hmm.
appreciate
Yeah.
you sharing that.
Yeah, and I never thought about it as like getting attached to the patient or
Yes.
to the case, because
Hmm.
you're just thinking like you run the lab and then you send it back.
Hmm.
But so it's the information that's given to you from the physician or from whatever situation is
Hmm.
going on within the hospital. And so I guess understanding that you do collaborate with the majority of the hospital, but looking at how you train people,
Hmm.
understanding like what exactly as far as like the degree that they need, and then knowing that, and I'll give this example with nurses, right? They have a nurse residency program
Hmm.
that they can join into, and for that first year, 9 months to a year
Hmm.
of them being a nurse with Advent Health, they have that opportunity to kind of have that hands-on continued development. Is there any opportunities that you have if you're joining the laboratory team,
Hmm.
that you of course can come in because you're credentialed, but continue learning because it's such a hands-on job?
Correct.
Do you all provide additional trainings for that new team member?
So I know AHU is starting with their medical laboratory sciences program, which they are starting. But I usually tell people or interested candidates that if they're wanting to work in the laboratory and they still have hesitation, usually you can start as a lab assistant, and it starts. It's a entry level, or a phlebotomist, which help us also with the blood draw collection. So it can help with start there, experience the laboratory, and then go through the college program to either get certified as a medical laboratory scientist. And then from there on, like, you can continue doing your master degree, or you can continue specializing in any area where you also want to get certified.
Hmm.
And what type of master's degree would help continue growth in
Mhm.
in laboratory after you've gotten your medical laboratory science degree? Yeah.
Yes, so it can be very well versed. Like in my case, I did a master degree in healthcare administration. So of course, if you want to go in the administrative part of it, but also there's people that do have master degree in laboratory sciences too, or they specialize either have a PhD in a specific area, or then if they want to go to being a pathologist, of course, that's another great avenue to grow.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Yes.
And you shared with us that you have a philosophy that satisfaction is within you. So, how has this mindset really shaped your career?
So as I have learned, like dealing with people and working with people, I, and even myself, of course. So I tell people, like, we we all go through life seeking satisfaction,
Mhm.
but satisfaction is within you. So it's kind of like, just to say it kind of like makes sense. Like, we sometimes are trying to satisfy our needs, or trying to get that what we don't have or what we really want, and how do we get there, right? But I don't think it's until we do our inner work as to what I want and where I want to be, that then you work individually to get there, and then find your sources to get there.
Mhm.
But you have to also satisfy the things that you like in your core. Like, I always like sciences, so being up for me, uh, entry level medical laboratory scientist, I enjoyed it for those 6 years. And then I was thinking, okay, what is next for me? Until then, of course, I apply and got another position, right? But it's trying to seek that, but at the same time seeking that satisfaction. Yes, we all want to grow, but also enjoying what you're doing at the moment, and count on your blessings,
Yeah,
of course.
absolutely.
What were some of the things that you took that was maybe started during COVID,
Hmm.
as you kind of mentioned, was
Hmm.
a great time to highlight, unfortunate time for many, but a great time to highlight lab and the work that you all are doing. What are some of the things that you maybe started initiatives during that time that you all have kept and move forward with now, being that COVID is, that season is complete? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I think when COVID came in, it was, of course, full blast. For laboratories, is like, yes, everybody thought we had the answers, and no, we were just as learning as we went. I think we had the technology and the tools to go and do that, but it was also very unknown because it wasn't something that we had before. I think that most of the things that we have kept now is, of course, that PCR technology that we have that is very confirmatory, and we have extended through other tests in house as well that are very helpful. So it kind of cuts that turnaround time of the moving of that sample from one place to the other to get resulted or to get a confirmatory testing. I think those methods have really advanced, and now we can have it in other locations where we haven't before, because through COVID it was very limited. The demand was so high and the supply was low.
Mhm.
And I think now that we have learned through that, we have learned how to be efficient. And we were already efficient, but I think more efficient, and moving these things around where we all can also share and also help our patient in different locations at the same time, like having availability of all the supply, anywhere or in most of our locations. I think in the beginning we were very limited, and we have to be very creative within the regulation how we do that. But also, again, we cannot forget we keep a high quality level
Mhm.
standard, with the regulatory agencies too.
And how would you say that building a strong connection with your managers and leaders has impacted your career development over time?
Yes, we learn through others. We learn by teaching, of course, and I think that building trust with the managers or with your downline is super. rewarding. You see them grow too. The idea is that one day they success you, right? And that they continue that. I think I love building that trust with them. And I also love sharing my experiences too. It's not till you're there that you experience it, but sometimes we get there and those experiences were not shared with us and we don't know what to do. Or we have that little hesitation when we get to a new position, we don't know.
Hmm.
But if you have a mentor or someone that shared those experiences with you and that also put that trust in you, it builds your confidence and it makes it a little bit easier, right? When you get to either that new role. But I think that first of all, trust is the most, and also building their confidence and see them grow is very rewarding.
Hmm.
Very, very rewarding.
Absolutely. So, what are some of the resources that your team, I'm sure you have direct reports,
Yeah.
that you may be influencing them to use to stay up to date with what's going on
Hmm.
in the market within laboratory?
Within laboratory, I think right now we are, I'm thinking really forward right here. I think we work in a great organization where, of course, it works with tuition reimbursement, opportunities to continue seeking opportunities to grow that. I think we gotta look at like telepathology, AI, right? Those are new avenues that are in a way unknown, but it's new technology that can be brought up to the laboratory and see how also it works, or maybe it's already happening, right? But I think that is a great opportunity to look into that. I think that beside enriching yourself with new courses or certificates, a lot of we work with a lot of technology, and we can never forget that technology is here to be with us and to embrace it. So that's why I see that. I think is very wide open, to be honest with you, as I think of your question. But yes, there's many ways where we can embrace that knowledge and expand it.
Sonali, is there any resources? Are there any resources, or cut that? I said that wrong. All right, here we go.
Hmm.
Sonali, are there any continued education opportunities for your team members, or specific towards laboratory, that you're required to have as you continue throughout your career?
Yes, we have to do CEUs and we have to comply with a certain number of CEUs every 2 years for the state of Florida to keep our license active, as well as for our national certification. So we can have both. And of course, there are CEUs and learnings through there to keep up with either the new testing or new ways of doing testing in different ways. Um, for our laboratories, as well as all the learning. If there's cases that are shared there too, like patient cases that are shared there and can help like future cases that we receive too for patients. But yes, there's continued educations that we have to comply with.
Awesome.
And overall, can you just elaborate on the significance of mentorship and leadership within your professional journey?
Excellent. Yes. Mentorship is great because it's like a continuation, right, of the career. We also, even in the laboratory, have to work in well, with our trainees, like when there's internships. So the last 6 months of the medical laboratory sciences, the students have to be with us. And in our labs, we actually train them. So it's kind of like even that mentorship there, but also there's mentorship within from leadership as well. Even managers, right? From me to my managers, to grow them and to share again all the experience that they need to equip them
Mhm.
for the future and their growth. I think for leadership, when it comes to that, I think it's giving them the guidance, guide them and keep a cohesive team as to where we're going and where do we want to go, and also continue having or showing the team the vision as to what we want to do in the laboratory or how we're going to move forward from XYZ or a case, etc. Right?
Yeah.
But I think sharing is very important, and that's why mentorship comes very handy.
So, what do you hope listeners will take away from your experiences and achievements shared on this podcast?
So I would love to inspire others for the medical laboratory science. I think it's a very rewarding career, whether you start or just want to be from a lab assistant, a phlebotomist, to a medical technologist, to all the way to a pathologist. Again, there's different avenues, but to put the profession out there, I think as laboratorians, we are by nature introverted. This is why we are in the background. We enjoy that too, but at the same time, there's people like me maybe that need to put their career out there and show the rewarding of it and also how far we can go, right? I never thought I would be here But here I am, and just using the opportunity to put the profession out there that really call my passion. That oh, that little girl that always asks why this or why would that happen, and kind of like fulfilling that, right? Working in that self satisfaction in order to either count my blessings or show others. But yes, here to wanting to help anyone that want to go in the medical laboratory sciences field, because there's many options, and inspire that yes, never give up, it's possible.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
And what areas within laboratory are seeing the most needs? Like where are you not seeing enough candidates right now? Have there
Well,
been any changes since COVID, or what does that look like for you on a hiring standpoint?
I think we still struggle the same way, or
Hmm.
that we have the same challenge. Sometimes the classes are not that big, right? When it comes to that, I think it's a career that maybe just need more exposure, like I was mentioning earlier. It is not like how it seems. I know that we deal with body fluids and blood and all that, but it is not like, I don't know, as it may seem when it comes to the frontliner or to the persons that don't know. And again, just trying to expose that part. But I think it's rewarding to help others,
Hmm.
even from the background.
Yeah.
And one of the things I'm thinking about here,
Hmm.
in my current role with Advent Health, I recruit at a lot of the universities,
Hmm.
and so I do, because I'm on the non-clinical side, so business, finance, IT, and those different things. Sometimes I run into certain professionals that are interested in going to med school, and they're studying. Biology, right?
Hmm.
And so obviously they're pre-med, or either they're pre-med or they're studying biology. Regardless, what I'm getting at is that their degree, if they were to graduate and decide not to become a doctor, it can be a little bit difficult to find work
Mm.
in a field where you graduate with your pre-med degree. And so what I'm getting at is I think that this field, laboratory, even MLS, is a great way for you to graduate with a degree that can substantially get you a position if you decide not to go into straight into medical school, to become a physician. And so I think even me as a recruiter, just thinking, as you mentioning, how can we, get
Yes.
people more inspired about
Hmm.
this work, or how can we get an influx of candidates to this type of
Yeah.
work that you do in your department, to the laboratory? I think that's one of the ways, right? Is
Yes.
messaging that to those kind of those pre-med students and saying like, hey, I totally understand you right now in your sophomore year, you're dead set on becoming a physician, and that's amazing.
Hmm.
But I think graduating with a degree that will allow you to work immediately, such
Yes.
as doing MLS, I think that would be a great way to maybe help influx some candidates, because you never know if that person may decide, you know what, I actually like MLS. I can make money right away
Hmm.
versus going to school,
Correct.
which is much longer. And maybe in
Hmm.
the future, like you said, they can then go ahead and become a pathologist or become a physician. So
Absolutely.
just thinking, and
Yes.
maybe we can partner
Yes.
on that, because I
I would
think
love
that
to.
message is key. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And sometimes the specialization is one more year because they already have the credits or they already have the classes that requires that
Right.
to apply for the board. And then there you go. You have a career with a certification, and you have a license where you can work in a laboratory and have a rewarding experience.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And I know you mentioned being passionate about partnering with schools and being
Yes.
able to work with students. Can you speak a little bit to your
Yes.
experience with that and what that looks
Yes,
like for you?
I have done some of that work too with some
Hmm.
of the schools, and we were talking earlier about junior
Hmm.
achievement. I'll be this month at the end of this month in one of the schools.
Hmm.
I have done for them, and they love it. I have done for the high schoolers the blood type, where
Hmm.
we do like a slide, and they get a little, they poke their finger, put a little drop of blood, and they get to know their blood type. I usually love that one because it's something visual,
Hmm.
but at the same time it's very close to what we do as well in the laboratory setting, and it's very rewarding to see how they get really excited about it, to put the profession out there. But yes, yes, I have done some of that as well, and then of course I seek opportunities to put the profession out there, but mostly yes, thanks to Advent Health and the opportunities of volunteering for that.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
for your time. It has been so wonderful speaking with you, and we're grateful to be able to highlight this area.
Yes.
As you said, laboratory tends to go unseen and unnoticed, but you are the backbone of our facilities and of our organization. So I'm glad we had the opportunity to do that today. And thank you to our listeners. Thanks for listening to the Whole Career Podcast. We hope that you subscribe and listen on your favorite platform. And until next time, take care.